Hey guys, my name is Batumio, and today I decided to switch things up a bit and went back and played some Planetside 2. What I love about this title is that every time I give it a break, every time I wait on it for a couple of months and then come back to it, there's always something new to experience. They bring in new maps, they bring in new content from vehicles to weapons, they add in new features, and overall the game just constantly gets more and more polished. Because this is really, right now, only a PC exclusive game, they are constantly patching it. Like, it's awesome. I love the way that SOE has been handling this title. One thing that I have to critique them on, though, is where the hell is the PlayStation 4 version of this game? I like SOE, I think that they would do a great job with their video games. I cannot wait to see what happens with H1Z1, but one of the things that they are terrible at is nailing down release dates and then following through with those release dates. Maybe I'm just misremembering this, but I thought that they were going to announce or release the PlayStation 4 version of this game like a good 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago, and I know that they have a lot of work to do because, well, this is a PC game and all of the menus revolve around using a mouse and keyboard, and so they need to make sure that it feels comfortable and makes sense with a controller, but it's just like, where the hell is this title? And really, this isn't the first example that they've had a hard time nailing down and following through with release date. I remember that Hassan was announced like a year and a half ago, and it took them like a good year to release it. It was a little bit absurd. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up is that maybe I'm just being a little bit too selfish, but I really want to play the PlayStation 4 version of Planetside 2. I know that might sound a little bit weird to a lot of you guys, but I seriously think that Planetside 2 on the PlayStation 4, as long as it's not terribly laggy, because this is a huge game, there's going to be a lot of people on the screen, as long as they're able to make it so that it runs correctly, this is going to be a huge hit and free-to-play game on the PlayStation Network. There really isn't a lot of great free-to-play games right now on the PlayStation 4. Like, there was a couple. I was playing Blacklight Retribution, which is solid, but when you really get down to it, don't really have a lot of titles. And so I think that once Planetside 2 does launch on that system, it's going to be a huge hit. And I'd sort of like to be involved with that. I think that it is going to be a lot of fun on the PS4. And so maybe I'm just being a little bit too naive, maybe I'm just being a little bit too selfish, but I really do wish that SOE was a little bit more reliable when it came to their release dates and then following through with them. But getting back to the PC side of things, one thing that I've noticed myself doing more and more is seeking out and trying to find small little skirmishes, small little battles, and instead of the big epic ones where it's like 100 versus 100. While I still enjoy the epic battles, like pushing up onto one of the bases and having an even firefight where eventually your team is able to prevail, it's awesome. Like, it's one of the best and most unique things about Planetside 2. But I've also just noticed that I sort of like to have a little bit more influence on the battlefield. Like, when you're only one player versus another 100 people, you get a couple of kills here and there, it's not going to mean that much of a difference in the large grand scheme of things. Like, they're gonna get revived, they're gonna spawn back in a couple of seconds, and while it may have pushed them back, like if you're able to kill like 10 people really quickly, it is gonna help out your team. But overall, it's just kind of a drop in the bucket. But for a 20 versus 20 skirmish, instead of just being a small peon, a little grunt who has no influence on the battle, all of a sudden, as long as you're good enough, you turn into Zeus, smiting people left and right, going on these amazing kill streaks, and then you are guaranteed to have an influence on in your team winning and losing or being able to capture and secure that objective. Maybe it's just my ego speaking, maybe it's just because I enjoy seeing my impact on the battlefield, but I've really enjoyed those smaller battles. I still go out and seek those larger epic warfare every so often because it is fun, don't get me wrong, but if I get into a long hallway where each side is at a stalemate and we're all throwing grenades and everyone is just kind of peeking out every so often to try to get a couple of shots off, that's just not my cup of tea. It reminds me a lot of Operation Metro and Operation Locker in Battlefield, and I don't really enjoy that gameplay, and so I go out and try to seek some smaller battles. One thing that I've been really enjoying is the new Directive system. This essentially gives you little mini challenges that you can complete every single time that you log in. So let's say, for example, you really like to play as the medic. Well, every time that you do a medical-based action, like reviving your teammates, healing someone, getting a savior kill on an enemy, that is going to slowly progress you through each of these directives. They have different tiers, and I'm assuming they get harder and harder every single time. It takes a while to unlock each of the tiers, but then once you get get to the very end of it, you mastered it, you get a really cool cosmetic item. It's, I think, an armor piece, different for every single of the classes, so it's going to be unique for the classes, but it's a really cool incentive at the end of this little system. And what I love about it is that, first of all, it gives newer players a general idea of what the hell they should be doing when they're playing as a certain class. It sort of nudges them in the right direction. So if they're playing as a medic, well, you want them to do medical type of things. You want them to be reviving their teammates. You want them to be healing everyone, and to have a system that is rewarding them for doing those actions and subtly giving them in the hint that that's how you're supposed to be playing as the medic. It's just a nice way of handling things. But not only that, I just really like the idea of having a reward like this at the end of quote-unquote mastering out a class. It not only just kind of showcases to everyone that you put a lot of time investment into it, but also just sort of kind of illustrates to your enemy that you sort of know what the hell you're doing. Like, if you come across someone who has a particular armor set, they have this cosmetic piece, yeah, you should be maybe a little bit more wary when you start to go toe-to-toe with someone in a particular firefight. I just think it's a really cool system. I like how it rewards people for investing in a certain role and mastering it out, and I really like the directive system in Planetside too. But yeah, guys, that's all I really wanted to talk about in today's video. I hope you enjoyed this mix-up of gameplay and some Planetside 2 action. Let me know if you guys are excited for Planetside 2 coming to PlayStation 4. Can you not wait to get your hands on it? I think it's going to be amazing as long as it's not a buggy and glitchy mess when it goes into release. I think it's going to be phenomenal, so let me know what you guys think down below. But until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.